SC Braga is a team you might be familiar with if you follow the Portuguese league or even if you know some knowledge about the Portuguese league. In fact, in the very recent league season that just passed, they finished 4th in the Liga Portugal. However, they have not won the league in a long time, and when it comes to European competition, that is the same as well. In fact, the last time that this happened, I believe, was in 2010, 2011, where they had an all Portugal final against Porto and they lost. So the winner was from Portugal, the loser was from Portugal. Portugal won and lost both in the same day. And ever since just the 2010s and 11s, there's not many Portuguese teams. In fact, I don't think any Portuguese team has won any European competitions. And you know what? I would not let that stand. I'm going to change that right here, right now. Because welcome to the Football Manager 2024. Yes, I'm sorry, FM25 is delayed, but that's not my decision. Anyways, welcome to the FM24 SC Braga rebuild here, where within 3 seasons, I'm hoping to get Braga some form of European competition. And not only that, we have an additional kind of handicap that we can only sign Portuguese players. Holy hell. Let's see if we can achieve that. Okay, here we are, season number 1, and this is the team that we are rocking with here. I'm not too familiar with most people, but I think, there are a few players in here that I'm sort of familiar with. Simon Banza, for example, I heard his name. And then, of course, if you follow the Premier League as well, you should be familiar with Joao Moutinho. I mean, he's aging, but he's here. Zalazar's a name I also heard of. So there's some, players here and there that I kind of heard of. Ricardo Horta, I believe, is here somewhere as well. Okay, or Andre Horta. I definitely did not make that up. I got ball knowledge, but the ball was sliced in half apparently, because I only know half the name. But yeah, so this is the squad. I'm not sure if I'm going to make any signings here in season number 1. If I do, I will let y'all know. If not, we're probably just going to go to maybe the midpoint of the season and kind of update you on the progress of the team, or if I decide to sell anyone. I'm not exactly sure what I'm about to do with her, because at this point when I'm recording this, I have not decided. That is the brain of a perfect manager. Here we are, midpoint of the season here, and I'm going to keep the results for myself for now. I'm aware of where we are in the league, in the conference league, and so on. But before we get to that, we're going to make some signings here at the midpoint of the season, just to bolster the squad and for some youth development, even though we are doing 3 seasons max. But we brought in Diego Spencer, or my bad, Diogo Spencer. This guy is Portuguese, I can confirm, although that sounds like a very English name. There you go, confirmation that he's Portuguese, and he has signed on for us for 3 million as a backup fullback for now. In a piece of not so good transfer news, we did actually try and re-sign Joao Moutinho here. He's one of the star players at the club, so I definitely had to try and, make him stay. Unfortunately, Ajax also offered a contract, and he accepted the contract offer from Ajax, as you can see there. I don't know what else to say. Unfortunately, it is what it is. He'll be joining Ajax. Sad to see him go, and we will probably be looking for a replacement in the January transfer window even. Who knows? You have to watch on to find out, I guess. And we got another big transfer out of the club here in season number 1. My hands were tied with this one. I really didn't have much choice. Horta really wanted to leave, and I couldn't really say no for 2 reasons. One, he joined my favorite club Arsenal, of course, for that's one reason. And the second reason was because he is 30 years old, so he's going up there in age. I mean, he's still doing well in the Portuguese league, in the other competitions, at least when I looked at the team. But 32 million for a 30 years old as a winger. We can sign a backup winger, not a backup winger, but we can sign a starting winger for less than that, I think. So yeah, I'm happy to let Horta go. I hope I just don't get sacked by the management for, letting two big players go here. Fingers crossed. I mean, look, just trust the process, trust the vision, okay? I know what I'm doing. And you will find out that I know what I'm doing when you see the end of season results. And one more transfer out of the club here. Rodrigo Macedo, who was also a sort of backup striker, a young backup striker for the starting team. He's off on a free transfer to Lecce. I'm sort of looking back and thinking about this right now, but all these free transfers are making me look bad. But trust me, I got a plan. Believe, okay? Believe in me, okay? Alright, guys, I'm being completely honest. I am not doing this on purpose. I've offered a contract to this guy. He, so some reason, didn't want it. So Diego Fonseca here, he's off to Estrella de Amarota. Sad here. I am feeling sad. I am genuinely feeling sad. Like you know what? Next season, at least if we don't win the Conference League this season, next season, we really have to lock it and kind of just maybe rebuild the whole entire team from the ground up here with the money that we have. I don't know. I really don't know. All I'm saying is, I'm innocent, okay? If I get sacked, this is none of my business. I did all I can to save some of the players, okay? Okay, and here we are at the end of the season. We have completed all the games. So let's take a look at the competitions one by one here. Starting with the Taça de Portugal, which is, I believe, like the Portuguese Cup. We actually made it to the final of that competition, but we ended up losing to Benfica. In the Allianz Cup, we also lost that in the semi-final. We again went out to Benfica. Really, Benfica seems like a kryptonite for me because we always lose to them, but they didn't win the Allianz Cup. Porto did in the end. But the fantastic news for us is at least we got a piece of silver rare this season, maybe one more. I'm not going to show you how we go in the Conference League just yet, but we won the Liga Portugal, so add that trophy to the cabinet. So there we go. Alright, I know this is the one that you guys have been waiting for, the Conference League. And if you guys never watch Football Manager or don't play Football Manager, by default the first season always has the previous format of the European competition, so which is why you see the group stage here. But next season onwards in all the European competitions, it will be the league format. Anyways, we have started off here in the group stages. We actually had to qualify for the group stages. All right, you don't need to feel bad for me. I'm just that good. All right, trust me on that. We actually topped the group, not a single loss at all, which is great. This means that we went to the round of 16, I believe, and that is right, where we actually very closely beat Lazio on penalties. I'm not gonna lie, this was really nerve-wracking, and I thought we were finito at around 16, but we made it to the quarterfinals, which unfortunately it was a close game, but we lost to Chelsea, who at the top there. I don't know why I don't know why I'm like hiding it as if, you know, like you guys don't already know who won. You can see the top right title holder Chelsea. You can see at the right as well of the screen it says past winner Chelsea. But yeah, we eventually lost to the eventual champions, which was Chelsea. And yeah, so we go again in season number 2. But before that, even though the objective at the start of the season, as you can see on the screen, even though the objective mentioned that within 3 seasons we need to win a European competition, we need to be the first team that does that. I did not specify that because, you know what, I like to leave you on a cliffhanger. I like to, you know, add some suspense in it. So we needed to be the first team overall to win a European competition. So which means we have to check out the Europa League as well as the Champions League and make sure no Portuguese team has won in those competitions. Okay, speaking of Tottenham, they won the Europa League, so we're safe there. The Champions League is the one I'm cautious about because I have seen Portuguese team do well in FM or Champions League. I don't know why. Okay, but we can breathe here because it is an El Clasico final, which means we are safe. And yeah, with that, let's head on over into season number 2. Okay, we are now at season number 2, and we're gonna kick things off with a signing for the club. I've sort of looked at the club, look at the squad, you know, with all the different players that are, you know, coming back off of their loan. I think we have a decent enough squad for the Champions League for the most part. I don't know if we will win, but I think can give it a good shot, you know, at least making it through the league phase. Anyways, but we need some quality depth in my opinion for the next season and even this season. So we brought in a young center back, Manu Silva from Benfica. I think he's gonna do really well. Only 3 million. I think this is gonna be a really good money spent for this guy. Also, before we actually move on with season number 2, let's take a look at the squad and let's, you know, highlight and recap some of the best performing players or some of my personal favorites last season. Obviously, Horta was one of the key players. Even Moutinho, he's still here at the club because it haven't ticked over to his end of contract yet. He was a really good center for the club. Zalazar as well is probably the best player at the club right now because he's 11 goals, 15 assists in 39 matches. Really amazing. He's only 25, which means he'll probably be here for at least another few years. And yeah, we can really build off the whole squad from him. Another player that I wanted to highlight is Simon Banza, even though he wasn't clearly at the club, but he's coming back off of his loan spell, so interesting to see how he performs in the coming season. Also, shout out this Fernandez guy. Only brought him in off the youth system like at the end of last season, but he's been doing bits in the youth system and he's been doing bits at the club. 8 goals, 2 assists in like 16 appearances, 6 of the bench. That is pretty good for a starting season if you ask me. And yeah, I feel like this squad is just gonna improve, hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's see how we get on in season number 2. So we are here in the January transfer window for season number 2. I initially did not want to make any signing at all, to be fair, but we are in the midst of maybe losing one of our key right backs. He's a key player, so we need to bring in someone to fill that gap, and Thiago Santos from Lille is that guy. 23 years of age, of course a Portuguese, and yeah, he comes into the club for a hefty amount of 11.75 million if you ask me. Also very odd, but and I don't know if this is like normal, I don't think it is, but Lille are in League 2. I don't know how they got relegated, but someone there ain't doing their job. But for me, we're still doing our job. And remember how I said that we just signed a right back because one of our own right back was about to leave? Well, that has happened. Alright, I wanted to let him stay. He's 23 years old, so literally the same age as the player I signed before, but he wanted to leave because he wasn't happy at the club. He doesn't believe in the project that I'm doing. That's his fault, not my fault, okay? But Joe Mendes is off to Eintracht Frankfurt for 9.25 million. So we did get some of the money back that we spent on the other right back, but you know, there's still some losses there, but not a lot. Joe Mendes, thank you for your service, but out the door you go. Alright, here we are at the end of the second season, and trust me when I say this, you guys are not going to believe the results. First of all, let's take a look at the cup competitions. Allianz Cup, we actually were shockingly eliminated from the group stages. It's not a great start, but trust me, you want to keep on watching. But where we massively failed in one cup competition, we make up for it in another cup competition where we have won the Taça de Portugal here against Victoria de Guimarães in the final. So there we go. There is one trophy to add to the cabinet. You know how I told you to keep on watching? Well, this is why, because we have not only won one trophy in the second season, we have actually won two. This is the Liga Portugal, which we have topped the league with just barely. It actually, I believe, came down to the last day. So we won it on the last day with 85 points, just barely clearing Porto. But a win is a win. One loss the whole entire season though is massive in my opinion. Alright, so that's two trophies. Let's see whether we can add another one in the Champions League. And trust me, you want to watch this. Okay, here is the Champions League. You can already tell me why I told you to watch this part of the video. You can already see title holders Braga up there. I don't know what happened this season. I was like genuinely shocked as you are. We came in 8th spot in the league phase, which might have dictated the whole, you know, path of us going to the finals. Because imagine if we didn't make the top 8. So when I saw we made the top 8, I was like, you know what? We could go a distance here. I did not think we could win, but I thought we could make a good run at least. And we did just that. I think we lost one game against Liverpool. We drew against Dortmund and Munich, which were great. And the rest of the teams that we beat are quite okay in my opinion. That's why I wasn't too confident going to the knockout rounds. But in the round of 16, we actually did a good showing against AC Milan. I was still a little bit skeptical that we could go the entire way, but I was like, you know what? This is a massive confidence momentum booster thingy, okay? I was like, right, we're in the quarterfinals where we actually lost the second leg to PSG, but we won the first leg 2-0, so we were in by aggregate. You could see all the 4 teams that are remaining. 2 of those teams are not like the others. I'm gonna let you decide which one is which, okay? But we are into the semi-final where, again, shockingly, we lost the second leg. But because our first leg result was so good, I was like, you know what? As long as we don't bottle this, I will be massively happy. And we were. But if you look at the other result, Madrid also lost their second leg, but they also trashed Tottenham in the first leg. So, you know, they had that. So the stage was set, Real Madrid versus Braga. I don't know how this happened, but in the final, I'll give y'all like 5 seconds to guess what's the scoreline. You know what? If you're at this point of the video, comment down below what you think the scoreline was for us versus Braga. I mean, obviously you know that we won, but what do you think was the scoreline? Alright? Well, I'm going to reveal to you right now a 4-1 trashing. I was like, okay, I know we play an attacking formation, but this is really an attacking all-out formation. It was either we were going to lose 4-1 or we were going to win 4-1. I was like, okay, yeah, this is where we are. And with that, we have completed our objective. And not only that, but in season 2, we are achieved not 1, not 2, but 3 trophies. Holy hell. You know what they say, you either win 4-1 in the Champions League final or you lose 4-1 in the Champions League final when you're up against Madrid, and we were on the winning side, so that's great. How could I leave the video without giving some shout out to some of the players that really made this run really special. Garbi here, 22 years old, Ismail Garbi. This guy, although he doesn't look like great, but trust me, he is a star in this Braga team. He may be like, you might be saying 3-star, look at the stats, like what the hell are you talking about? But this guy, I'm telling you, was really good in his role. Matt House as well, a rock at the back there. And I mean, like, there were a lot of good players here. Marquez as well, Joao Marquez as well, 23 years of age. This guy was amazing as well. Yeah, that's probably the 2 biggest players that we have here. And also, where is he? Zalazar. He's 26 years old. He only scored 8 goals, 7 assists, but in 26 games, I think that's spectacular. And yeah, so these were some of the highlights on our team. So actually, to be fair, massive shout out to everyone, because I think when you look at this team overall, you look at this team and you don't think this is a Champions League winning side, but we've done it against all odds apparently. And yeah, so that's some shout out to some of the players in the team. With that, I'll end the video there. If you guys did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more FM content. Come on, also suggest some ideas down in the comment section below. Until next one, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all on the next one. Alright, bye bye everyone.